All right, so get ready because today we are gonna dive deep into a game that mashes up two absolute classics,
Oh, yeah.
Scrabble and Monopoly.
Two of the biggest.
Right, it seems like Monopoly Scrabble is everywhere these days.
Yeah, it's having a moment.
So we got a ton of questions from you guys.
A lot of curiosity.
Yeah, like articles, reviews, even snippets from the rule book.
People want to know if it lives up to the hype.
Exactly. So we're going to unpack all of it and help you figure out if this hybrid game is actually worth your time.
Yeah. Is it worth adding to game night? That's the big
Oh,
question.
for sure. Okay, so it promises that classic Scrabble wordplay.
Yeah.
With that, like, strategic property grabbing of Monopoly.
Right. Trying to get that real estate.
But all wrapped up in under an hour.
Yeah, that's the big appeal for a lot of people. Who has time for like a 5-hour Monopoly marathon anymore?
Exactly. Okay, so under an hour.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Sign me up.
So how does Monopoly Scrabble actually work?
Well,
What's the objective?
the goal is to be the wealthiest player by the time the last Scrabble tile is played.
Okay.
And your wealth comes from two things. Your cash, obviously.
Classic.
Yeah. And the value of all the properties that you manage to snag throughout the game.
Okay, sounds pretty familiar, right?
Yeah. So far, so Monopoly.
But I'm curious how they bring in the Scrabble part. Do you still, like, buy properties by landing on them?
That's where it gets a little bit different. So you actually acquire properties by placing words on the Scrabble board in a way that covers up those property spaces.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's almost like a word-based land grab.
Hold on, so no more bidding wars?
Nope.
No agonizing over whether to mortgage Baltic Avenue?
Gone. No more of that.
That's a big departure from traditional Monopoly.
It really is. They've streamlined it quite a bit.
I like it.
And the money works differently, too.
Okay.
Forget about using your cash to buy properties directly.
Okay.
In this version, you use it to buy letters.
Wait, you can buy letters?
Yeah.
Okay, how does that work?
So there's like a central bank, with extra letter tiles, and
Oh,
players can buy these letters for $100 each.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so you could find yourself in a tough spot, right? Do you use that cash to buy a vowel that you desperately need to, like, make a high-scoring word?
Right.
Or do you hold on to it and try and grab a prime property when the opportunity comes up?
So there's an extra layer of strategy. It's not just about spelling the longest word anymore.
Exactly. You got to think about your spending, too.
Okay, I like that.
And to make things even spicier.
Yeah.
All that money that players spent on buying letters, those $100 bills, it all goes directly into the free parking pot.
Okay, wait a second. Free parking? I feel like that's always the most neglected space in a regular Monopoly game.
Yeah, pretty much just Newsfest, right?
Exactly. But you're telling me it actually matters in Monopoly Scrabble?
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Landing on free parking could be huge. You could walk away with a ton of cash.
Oh, wow.
Which you can then use to, buy even more letters or finally snag that last property you need.
So free parking is like the hot spot all of a sudden.
It really is.
All right, I'm just going to see how they've changed things up. I'm curious about the components, though. I saw online that the game board is quad-fold.
Yeah.
And honestly, in my mind, that just made me think of, like, flimsy cardboard.
Right.
What's the reality?
I'm happy to report that the components are actually really high quality.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the board is sturdy. You get the nice wooden tile racks.
Oh, those are nice.
Yeah, satisfying. And even those little Monopoly tokens, they're metal.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, it's got a nice premium feel to it.
Okay, that's a relief. What about the rule book? I know some folks have said it's a little hard to follow.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
One review even said it was organized in an odd fashion.
Yeah, I can see that. It's not super intuitive, especially if you've never played Scrabble before.
Gotcha.
Yeah, some key information is just kind of hidden in weird places.
So maybe watch a quick YouTube video before you play for the first time.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Just to make sure you're clear on everything.
Exactly. Save yourself a headache later.
Okay, so high-quality components, slightly wonky rulebook.
Yeah.
But the big question, does it actually deliver on its promise? Quick, fun, strategic?
Yeah, does it live up to the hype?
Is it really a game it can finish in under an hour?
Well, based on the reviews we've seen, it seems like a lot of people are saying yes.
Okay.
Most people praise it for being fast-paced and accessible.
Yeah.
And one important thing to remember is that the game ends when either all the properties are claimed
Right.
or all the Scrabble tiles are gone.
Oh, so two different ways to win.
Exactly. And that really changes how you approach the game.
I bet. Like, if you're going for the whole all tiles are gone ending, you might try to spell, like, really long, impressive words.
Right, like just go for it. Show off that vocabulary.
Even if it means missing out on some properties.
Exactly.
But if you're trying to win by getting all the properties first, you might focus on shorter words that land you in specific spots.
Yeah, strategically placing yourself to grab that real estate.
Even if those words aren't scoring you a ton of points.
Precisely. So it's constantly making you adapt your strategy. It's cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but what about players who have different skill levels? You know, like if you're playing with someone who's a Scrabble master.
Yeah, that one friend who seems to have the entire dictionary memorized.
Exactly. Wouldn't they just dominate in a game like this?
That's a good question, but that's actually one of the things that surprised me about Monopoly Scrabble.
Oh,
It actually does a pretty good job of leveling the playing field for players of different skill levels.
really?
Yeah, like let's say you are a Scrabble whiz.
Right.
You're probably tempted to go for those massive triple word scores,
Oh, yeah.
show off all those fancy words.
Right.
But here's the catch.
Okay.
In Monopoly Scrabble, your word score determines how many spaces you move.
Oh, interesting.
So you could end up landing on a bunch of expensive properties that your opponents own.
Ouch.
Yeah, and then that rent is going to really hurt.
So even the best Scrabble players have to think about property as much as their word score.
They can't just focus on the words, it's both.
Okay. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a nice balance.
What about those of us who are a little less confident in our Scrabble abilities?
Don't worry.
Is there still a way to win?
Oh, absolutely. There's plenty of room for clever play. Remember, you can always just add letters to existing words.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, for a quick score and potentially snag a property.
So you don't have to come up with these huge, complicated words.
Nope.
You can just add a letter or two.
Just play off of what's already there.
Okay, so even if I don't have the vocabulary of Shakespeare, I can still win.
Definitely. And don't forget about the luck factor.
Oh, right.
Chancing community chess cards can really change things up.
True.
And landing on free parking when there's a big pile of cash can totally turn the tide.
Right, right. Speaking of those cards, are they the same as in regular Monopoly, or did they get a makeover?
Oh, they definitely got a Monopoly Scrabble makeover.
Ooh, okay. What kind of changes are we talking about?
Well, forget about Advance to Go or Go to Shale.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In this version, the chancing community chess cards are all about shaking up property ownership
Okay.
and messing with your cash flow.
All right, so tell me more. What kind of shenanigans can we expect from these cards?
Well, for starters, you might get hit with a card that forces a property swap between players.
Ooh, spicy.
Or maybe you'll have to pay a certain amount for each vowel you have on your rack,
Oh, man.
like a vowel tax.
That could add up fast.
It could, especially if you're sitting on a lot of high-scoring letters.
It sounds like those cards add a good amount of unpredictability,
Yeah, for sure.
but in a way that's still tied to the Scrabble element. Like you said, that vowel tax.
Right, it all connects back to the core
Yeah.
mechanics.
Yeah, that's pretty close. It is. Okay, I want to go back to something we were talking about earlier about using letters from your rack to replace those blank tiles. I'm still not quite clear on that. Do you always have to pay $500 to replace a blank?
Yeah, so the rule book isn't super clear on this one.
Figures.
Some people interpret it as you always having to pay even if you're using a letter from your own rack.
Really? Even if I already have the letter I need sitting right there on my rack?
That's how some people read it.
That seems a little harsh, don't you think?
Yeah, a little counterintuitive for sure.
Well, luckily, we've got some resources that can help clear up this confusion, right?
Oh yeah. For those who really want to dive deep into the rules.
You talked about that Geeky Hobbies blog post?
Yeah, those guys are awesome. They do a really good job of breaking down all the little details and nuances.
Yeah, they did a whole deep dive on all the nitty-gritty rules of Monopoly Scrabble.
Exactly. They even addressed this whole blank tile issue.
And what did they decide?
Well, their interpretation, based on their close reading of the rule book, is that you don't have to pay the fee if you're using a letter from your rack.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Right. It's a lot more fair that way.
So if you're serious about mastering Monopoly Scrabble, it sounds like the Geeky Hobbies blog is a must-read.
Absolutely. They've got you covered.
They also talked about another rule that seems to be a big point of contention, right?
Oh, yeah. The whole can you pass your turn debate.
Right. Some people say you absolutely have to play a word if you can, while others think passing should be allowed.
It's a pretty big difference in how the game plays out.
So what's the official rule?
Well, here's the thing.
What?
According to the rule book, there is no official rule.
Wait, really?
Yeah. The Geeky Hobbies blog actually pointed this out.
So they just left it completely open to interpretation?
It seems that way. It's just missing from the rule book entirely.
Wow. So basically it's up to each group to decide how they want to handle it.
Exactly. Which I guess can be fun in its own way.
I can see that, especially if you've got some players who love to bend the rules.
Right. Could lead to some heated debates at the
A
table.
little bit of game night drama.
Keeps things interesting.
It does. Okay, so we've covered the rules, the components, the potential for some chaos.
Yeah.
What about the overall experience? Does Monopoly Scrabble actually live up to all the hype?
It seems like it. Most people really like it. They say it's fast-paced, easy to learn,
Okay.
and a lot of reviewers mention that it's great for families or groups with mixed skill levels.
I can see that.
You don't have to be a Scrabble expert or a Monopoly tycoon to have fun with it.
Yeah, perfect for when you want something engaging but not too complicated.
Right. It's good balance.
And it seems like it would spark a lot of conversation.
Oh, for sure.
People reminiscing about their childhood memories of the original games.
Right. Like, remember when I bankrupted you in Monopoly?
Yeah, or like, remember that time I played QI for a zillion points?
Exactly.
It's like a nostalgia trip combined with a modern twist.
It really is. And speaking of twists, one of the videos we watched showed a really cool variation on the ending.
Okay, tell me more.
So instead of playing until all the Scrabble tiles were gone, They decided to end the game as soon as all the properties were claimed.
Interesting. So it becomes more of a race?
Oh, yeah. A mad dash to grab that real estate.
I bet that changes the strategy quite a bit.
For sure. You really got to be on your toes.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try that variation next time.
Yeah, it's a good one.
As I was watching that video, one thing struck me.
Was that?
It felt like the gameplay was much more focused on the Scrabble side of things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're constantly thinking about word scores and letter placement.
Right.
You're even buying extra letters.
It's a very word-centric game.
It is. It made me wonder, what if they flipped it?
Flipped it? How do you mean?
Like, what if they made a version that leaned more heavily on the Monopoly side?
Oh, I like where you're going with this.
Like, imagine a game where you could use your cash to bid on property.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe even buy get-out-of-jail-free cards.
Ooh,
Or
class.
sabotage your opponents.
Yeah, like force them to pay extra rent or miss a turn.
Now, that would be some serious Monopoly action.
Right. Monopoly mayhem.
I think there's a lot of potential there.
Definitely. Like a whole different kind of Monopoly Scrabble experience.
Who knows? Maybe the folks at Hasbro are listening right now.
Maybe we've just given them their next big idea.
Maybe.
As we've been talking about all these what-if scenarios, I keep coming back to this one detail in the rule book.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
So the rules explicitly say that you can't buy properties by landing on them.
Right, you have to spell a word over them.
Exactly. But what if you could buy them the traditional way?
Ooh, that's an interesting twist.
Right? Like, how would that one rule change impact the whole game?
Would it make it too similar to regular Monopoly?
Or would it just add another layer of strategy?
Yeah, because suddenly landing on those properties becomes way more important.
Right. You'd have to balance your Scrabble skills with your property buying instincts.
It's a tough one, a lot to think about.
It really is. That's a great point to end on. What do you think?
I think that's a fantastic question to leave our listeners with.
Yeah, let them ponder that one.
So we spent all this time talking about Monopoly Scrabble.
Breaking it down.
Yeah, like all the rules and strategy.
Little details.
And we even came up with some pretty crazy what-if scenarios.
We did get a little carried away there.
I think it's just because the game sparks so many ideas.
It does. It makes you think about how you could change things up.
Like what other games you could combine.
Exactly right. Like what if someone mashed up Catan with exploding kittens?
Oh, man.
Resource management meets like crazy card chaos.
That's actually a really cool idea.
Right? Or how about Pandemic and Among Us?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like cooperative problem solving with that social deduction element.
I like it. There's so many possibilities.
Endless possibilities in the world of board games.
And, Monopoly Scrabble shows that these kinds of mashups can actually work.
Right, like they can be really successful.
All the buzz and discussion around it.
It's proof that people are hungry for something new.
Yeah, and it's cool to see those classic games, Scrabble and Monopoly, getting a fresh start.
Yeah, like they're getting a second life.
Exactly. I think it just shows that even familiar things can be exciting again if you find the right way to mix them up.
Totally. It's all about finding that perfect blend of the familiar and the unexpected.
Well said. Well, I think that's a great note to end on.
Yeah, I think we've covered it all.
We've unpacked the rules, explored the strategies, maybe even sparked some game design ideas.
Yeah, hopefully we've given our listeners something to think about.
And maybe inspired you to have your own game night.
Yes, gather your friends, your family, get those dice rolling.
Exactly. Whether you're a Scrabble fanatic or a Monopoly mogul or just looking for a fun game to play, Monopoly Scrabble is definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, it's a great option for any game night.
So until next time, happy gaming, everyone.